You better behave. You should be over there. Just lay down. No. No. I didn't want you to come over. No. I want you to behave. Go over there. Go lay down. Sit. No, not on my mat. Come over here. Sit. Sit down. Sit. 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 Miley, sit. Sit. There you go. Lay down. Now just stay there. Stay. Stay. We have less than a minute, probably. I sense she's a bit frisky this morning, so we'll see what she does. Good morning and welcome to a Friday morning class. I was out of town last Friday and had quite a wonderful time. We went back to Amish country and spent a couple nights at the inn at Honey Run, and we really like that place. So it was kind of a last minute decision, but it was a good one. It was really very relaxing, and we both needed that, Ron and I. So today we're going to focus on the back a lot, on the spine, on the vertebral column. We'll begin on our back with some awareness of the spine and then some gentle waking up stretches. And then we'll have quite a few twisting kind of motions in the spine. So let's go to the mat, get on your back. And it's a really good flow. It's new to me, so I've got my notes and I'll probably pause to refer to them because there's some things I just don't want to miss and I haven't committed it to memory yet. So lay down on your back. And as you lie on your back, if it feels okay in your body, keep your knees bent and roll your palms up. Heel toe your feet to the edges of the mat and then let your knees come together, kind of knock knee. So constructive rest pose. And tuck shoulder blades now. So lift one shoulder at a time and then tuck the shoulder blade under the back. And breathe, just breathe. And picture your breath as you inhale, coming in through the nose and then traveling back into the neck, right down the spine, behind the heart, way down to the tailbone. And then as you exhale, it takes the reverse path. So it leaves the tailbone, comes through the lumbar spine, the low back, the rib cage spine, the neck, and out the nose. And take a few breaths just to become aware of the spinal column, all those vertebrae. Now with the breath, the sensation of the breath traveling up and down the spine, as you inhale, feel a sense of fullness in each vertebrae as the breath touches each vertebrae and travels to the spine. And as you exhale, feel a sense of softening, of relaxing each vertebrae as the breath travels from the tailbone up the spine and then back out through the nose. Keep doing this for a few breaths. See if you can really soften through the shoulders and open through the shoulders. We tend to get a hunch back with all that we do in our lives that is in front of us and below our line of sight. We kind of round. So in this shape, as we begin this back practice, see if you can soften through the shoulders and notice how that brings some space to the upper back, the thoracic spine, the rib cage spine. Two more breaths like this. Now keep the knees bent and heel toe the feet in front of the sit bones. So now knees and ankles are hip distance apart. A little more action in the legs. Bring your hands over your chest in Anjali Mudra and then lace the fingers and flip them and reach overhead. So nice stretch. That's kind of our good morning stretch, but a little different. And as you're stretching the arms up, kind of wag your hips up and down. Like you're trying to scrub your mat. And then come to stillness, but slide the hands. The fingers are still laced under the back of the head. So cradle the back of the skull in your hands. And then with your hands, lift your head and draw your elbows kind of up, shoulder distance. You're not really pulling them together, but use that traction and turn your head side to side. So the chin's just skimming across the chest. And then release the head back down. And pause again, just in a neutral spine. Now this time as you inhale, lift the low back. So you're bringing an arch to the low back. You could slide your hand under there. This is an anterior tilt of the pelvis. As you exhale, we'll press the low back against the mat. And you can even push the feet into the mat to help that. So inhale. We're going to lift the low back, the lumbar spine, the sacrum, the pelvis. And as you exhale, we'll press the back into the mat. So pelvic tilting, these are so good. So good for low back. And the lumbar spine, the low back is where we develop most of our back problems. And 80% of the population in the United States has problems with low back at some time in their life. So it's worth paying attention to. If you've ever had back issues, it's not fun. And then come to neutral. So you have just a little lift in the back probably. Now I'm going to draw my right knee in and extend the left leg long now on the mat. Keep the left leg flexed and play a little with that right knee. You can roll around through the hip socket. You can do some circles through the ankle. And then switch sides. Left knee comes up, right leg out, flex the right foot, and then move through the left hip, move through the left ankle. And now both knees come in and doing some circling through the hips. And now we're going to come into our first happy baby. So take the hands like I have them behind the knees and use the hands to pull the knees down, open the knees wide. And the feet are flexed like you're trying to stand up on the ceiling and settle into that. Maybe you wag that tail side to side.
And then maybe slide the hands to the shins, a little deeper in the hips. And again, you can do some movement through the pelvis, through the hip socket. And then if you have the space, reach down for the feet. But wherever your hands land, we're gonna move a lot in this happy baby. So oftentimes I just have you roll side to side, but see how much you can move. Kind of circle around on the low back. You can even rock a little, lifting the pelvis. Explore, see what kind of movement you can get. Focusing on the spine, using this as an opportunity to wake up the spine, to massage the spine. And you're using the spine to move. And each of those vertebrae have muscles attached to them. Erector spinae muscles, multifidus muscles, and they're all designed to move independently. And we need to keep that. We need to keep the brain's ability to activate each of those muscles independently. We tend to move our back in chunks. And then come to stillness. And really pull those knees down. Turn the toes outward. That's why I like to grab the inside of my foot and wrap my fingers over, lace them towards the outside of the foot and pull down, flex the foot deeply. And then release the legs long. Flip the palms again, a nice good morning stretch. And wag the tail a little side to side. And bring your arms down to the side. Now we're going to come into a twist. I want you to draw your knees up to your chest. And the spine is centered on your mat now, but I want you to lift the hips and swing the hips to your left. So lift, swing, and then drop the knees to the right. And bring both arms over to the right. We're going to stack the left hand on top of the right and then slide that hand along the inside of the right arm, opening up into a nice twist. If the arm isn't supported by the floor, you can either bring something under the arm or maybe take the hand to the waist. Don't let the shoulder just hang. Now take your left hand to your hip and your right hand to your belly. And we're going to help this twist. So I'm going to pull my ribs with my right hand towards the right. I'm going to take my left hand and kind of open my hip to the left. Feel that space in the low back. Feel that space in the lumbar spine. And then release. Arms to the floor. We're going to lift the knees and swing the hips again back to the midline of the mat. So we'll neutralize everything. Pause. And now swing the hips to the right. Drop the knees to the left. Bring both arms on top of the other. I like to do this because I really think it helps you open up through the thoracic spine, the rib cage spine, bringing that into a twist. Try to keep your knees stacked. I notice the difference. My right shoulder isn't quite as open as my left. Just be interested in what you find. Modify as you need to, but just be curious about differences and similarities. Keep your mind here in this moment. Now again, we're going to help the twist. So now I'm going to take my left hand to my ribs, pulling my ribs this way, and take my right hand to my pelvis and pulling apart. And that just brings some nice space to the lumbar spine. There are 5 lumbar vertebrae, and they're big. They're big and chunky. They're meant to support you and less movement. But the cervical spine, now there are 5 lumbar spine, there are 7 cervical spine. The cervical vertebrae are smaller, and there's more movement available, but they're not as beefy and strong. And then release, arms down to the floor, lift the knees, and then swivel the hips. Now take your hands behind the knees. Now we're going to rock and roll up and down the spine, but this is a little different today. So usually we come up and down the vertebral column, right up and down the spine. This time I want you to think about the spaces on the left and the right of the spine. So we're going to use this movement to massage the spine, each side. And these new movements take some getting used to. And then come back to the spine again, come back to stillness, come back to that knees bent, arms at the side. Just pause in neutral and notice what you notice. Extend the legs long. We'll come into a little deeper twist this time. Draw the right knee in. Take the left hand, we're going to pull the knee across the body. So left leg's long, right knee's bent. Take the right arm out to the side. And even in this shape with the left leg long, we're going to see if we can open up some space in the low back. So I'm pulling my ribs to the right and my hips more to the left. And then come back to neutral and switch sides. Left knee in, pull it across the body. And then take the hands and try to help the twist in the lumbar spine. And then back on the back. And this time we're going to rock and roll to a seated position. So rock up the spine and come back up to seated. I'll change my orientation to you now. Come to Sukhasana, crisscross applesauce. Hands to the knees. And pause here. We'll take a couple breaths again with that awareness of the spine. Breathing in through the nose and letting that breath travel behind the heart, clear down to the tailbone. And as you exhale, visualize the breath going from the tailbone all up those curves of the back, right out the nose. Prana is life force energy, and prana rides on the breath. So now we're nourishing the spine with the life force energy that we're bringing into the body on the breath. And as we exhale, we're releasing stale, stagnant energy on the breath. 2 more. And swing your arms up on the inhale. On an exhale, take your right hand down to the ground. Now keep the left hip anchored, sit bone anchored to the mat. We'll laterally flex and extend the spine. We're going to hold this time. Breathe into the left ribs. Now on an inhale, come up. Both arms up. And as you exhale, we're going to twist to the left. So the right hand comes to the outside of the left knee, left hand behind you. Sit tall on an inhale. As you exhale, twist. My right hand's on the outside of my left knee so I can push against it. And I'm pulling my shoulder blade on the left towards my armpit. My left, or on the right, my left hand is on the mat, and I'm kind of pushing down on the mat and opening my left shoulder. So now my left shoulder blade is coming to the spine. Keep the twist, the gaze over your right shoulder. Stay long in the neck, shoulders out of the ears. And on your next inhale, unwind, bring the arms overhead. Bring the hands together in prayer and exhale the hands home to the heart. Second side, inhale up. And exhale, fold. We're going to fold and hold. Send the right sit bone down
and then reach with the right fingers. Breathe into the right ribs, intercostal spaces. Costal means rib. Intercostal muscles are secondary respiratory muscles. We use them when we're breathing fast, when we're exercising. A nice stretch there. And on your next inhale, press up. Exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Left hand goes to the right knee. We're going to push to bring us in the twist. Right hand comes down. Push into the mat to open the shoulder. Open it. Take your gaze over your right shoulder. And then bring the gaze over the left. Shoulders out of the ears, reach up through the crown of the head. Nice long neck, space between the vertebrae. And then on your inhale, unwind. And exhale, bring the hands home to the heart. Switch the cross of the legs and we're going to flow with this. So we're going to go breath to breath. So that time we held. Now we're going to inhale, exhale, inhale. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, right hand down, left hand over. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, face forward. Exhale, left arm down, right arm over. Inhale up. Exhale, twist right. We'll do one more each side with this shin in front and then we'll switch. Inhale. Exhale to the right. Inhale. Exhale, twist left. Inhale forward. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale forward. And exhale, the hands behind you, lean back. Switch the cross of the legs. Inhale, we're going to start to the left this time. Exhale, maybe the forearm comes down. Inhale up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale forward. Exhale, right hand down. I had to stop and think. Maybe forearm starts to come down. It's a little easier on my left. Inhale up. Exhale, twist to the left. Let that right knee come forward. See if you can deepen your twist by letting the pelvis move a bit. Inhale forward. One more time with the shin in front. Exhale to the left. Maybe the forearm comes down, but keep the sit bone reaching. Inhale up. Exhale, twist right. This time, let your left knee come forward. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. I hope I didn't just screw it up. Inhale up. No, I didn't. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhale forward and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. All right, let's come to hands and knees. Coming to cat and cow. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. You know how to do cat and cow, but this time do it real slow. Think about each of those vertebrae. Try to move each one independently in both directions. So take some awareness, much like being aware of the spine as we're taking the breath up and down the spinal column. Now, take movement, flexion and extension up and down the spinal column, one at a time. Let's do one more each direction. And then come back to neutral. I'm going to switch to this direction. So from
table, we're gonna come up into downward facing dog. So you know how to do that. Curl the tailbone and let's start to send the hips back and then lift back and up. And of course, we're gonna wiggle a bit here. See how many muscles you can find and stretch. And then come to stillness. Walk the feet wide to the left and right edges of the mat, and then walk them forward about the length of your foot. Bend your knees a lot. Now bring your right hand right under your nose, so right down there. And we're gonna take the left hand behind the right, reach to the right shin. We're gonna twist this. So lift the hips as you pull on the shin and twist. And breathe. You should feel a nice hamstring stretch in addition to that nice twist. Now unwind and we'll switch. Now the left hand's right under your nose. Right hand goes behind the left. My knees are bent. Grab the outside of your shin and then lift the sit bones and pull and twist. And unwind, and I'm gonna walk this way now. With the feet wide, I want you to walk the hands back to the feet. And these can be bent. Grab opposite elbows and hang. With your knees bent, it's nice and safe for you to just dangle forward and down. I wouldn't do this with straight legs. Let gravity help open up the spine. Feel that cascading of each vertebrae. Now you can swing here and sway. You can even bring the legs along for the ride, kind of a mini side lunge, I guess. Now drop the hands, and with the knees bent, let the crown of the head hang, the arms hang like a rag doll, and you're gonna roll up one vertebrae at a time. Keep the knees bent. That protects the low back. And then as you rise up, pause here, kind of a wide stance mountain pose. Stacking all the joints, feeling the spine now that we're standing upright. And walk to the top of the mat while I check my notes. So the next one is a version of a sun salutation. We'll be going through a kneeling lunge a couple times and table and a few cobras, little baby cobras. So from mountain pose, let's inhale, reach up, and exhale, fold. Boy, the sun is shining in so pretty here. Inhale, lift halfway. On an exhale, step back with the right foot. Drop the knee. Inhale, lift up. Take the hands to the hips. Now pay attention to the pelvic bowl now. Remember we did those pelvic tilts when we were on our back. See if you can't bring the pelvis to neutral. So if it were a bowl, you've positioned your pelvis so it's not going to dump anything in the front and it's not going to dump anything in the back. Now keep that and we'll sink forward and down and then back up. Keep that neutrality of the pelvis. It's real easy here to over arc the low back. Try to keep it neutral. Pulsing forward and back. One more time. And on this exhale, frame the foot and step into table. We'll do a couple cat-cow. Bringing movement to every vertebrae. Try not to move in chunks. And back to neutral. Downward facing dog. Just a quick one. And exhale back to table. Come to the belly. And right away, position the hands by the armpits, and we'll do 3 rolling baby cobra. So reach through the crown of the head, long neck. We're going to pull the hands down towards the hips, lifting the heart first, and the head will follow. And exhale down. 2 more. Last one. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Now bring your left leg back and up. So 3-legged dog. Reach. Now bend the knee. Stack the hips. Keep the shoulders square. Feel a nice stretch. And the hip flexors on the left. And now unwind. We're going to step forward through the hands. And drop the knee. And rise up. Now bring your hands to heart. And bring your hands overhead. We're going to twist this towards that front knee. So I'm going to bring let me get my left and right here, my left arm down and my right arm forward, turning to the left. Reach in both directions. Think about your pelvic bowl now. So neutralize the pelvis. And then bring both arms forward. Frame the foot, lift the back knee, and step forward. Arrive on an inhale, lift halfway, long spine, decompress the spine. And exhale, fold. Pulling your feet away from each other, swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Second side, inhale out. And exhale, fold. Lift halfway. Step back this time with the left leg. Keep the feet hip distance apart. Now drop that back knee. On an inhale, rise up. Take your hands to your pelvis and neutralize the pelvis. And sometimes it helps if you can't figure out what that means in your body to really let the pelvis tip forward. That's not what you want. And then try to tuck the tailbone. That's not what you want. Find that Goldilocks spot right in the middle. Keep that and shift forward and down and back up. Keep the pelvis neutral, shifting forward and down. It's tempting to bring too much of a low back curve, too much of an anterior tilt. One more. And come back to table. Let's do one cat, one cow. So cow first and cat. Come to the belly. And we're going to do that baby cobra again, but lift up and hold and bend your right leg. I'm going to bring my toes up towards the back of the head. I don't know, I can wave my foot around. And then down. Second side up. Left leg up, hold. And down. And this time we're going to come up and lift both feet. And hold. 2 more breaths. Exhale down, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. And this time, right leg back and up. Bend the knee, stack the hips, unstack the shoulders. You can move through the ankle. And step through the hands. And drop that knee again. Rise up. Neutralize the pelvis. Hands to heart. Up by the ears. We're going to take that twist towards the right knee. So my right hand circles down. They both really come down. And I open up to the left. Shoulders out of ears. Reach to the crown of the head. Open the chest. Reach in both directions. Keep the pelvis neutral. And then cartwheel forward. Come to table and then open the knees wide. And let's come into a child's pose. Sit back, take your time getting here. And see if you can bring the hips back to the heels and then bring the heart to the mat. And turn your head to one side. And if it works for you, you can kind of throw your hands back over your knees or lay them on the floor alongside the knees. This is a nice way to find a little extension, a little back bend in the rib cage spine, the thoracic spine. And that's the place that we hunch. We get a forward, a kyphosis hunch. Turn the head to the other side. And then press back into table. And get the knees under the hips. Tuck the toes. Curl the tailbone, downward facing dog. And walk to the top of the mat. Arrive on an inhale. Decompress the spine. Axial extensions. Really, it's like a telescope or a telescoping action. And then fold. Pull the feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Let me turn the page. I'm going to skip this next flow and move on because I want to do a couple of standing poses. So we're going to go from down dog into a standing lunge, and then we're going to twist the lunge and come into Prasarada. We'll go through warrior two and side angle. So there's a lot in this one. I'll have to refer to those notes, but it's a good one. So inhale up and exhale, fold. Lift halfway. Exhale, step back into down dog. Lift the right leg back and up. Drop the heel to the butt, stack the hips, unstack the shoulders. Now step through the hands with the right leg. Make sure the feet are on railroad tracks. We're going to come up in a standing lunge, a high lunge. So you're on the ball of the left foot. Take one hand in the front of the belly, one to the low back, and neutralize the pelvis. Square the shoulders. Bring the hands above you. We're going to take that twist. So drop the right hand down and back, twisting to the right. Keep the pelvis neutral. And you can even, and we do peaceful warrior, but we can make that same action here in a twist. So I'm dropping my right hand down and reaching up and over with my left arm. And then back to the twist. I'm going to face forward, and then I'm going to turn and open to my left. So now Prasarada. Pinky toe edges of the feet are parallel with the short edges of the mat. Take your hands to your low back. Nice back bend here. Draw those elbows back towards each other. Reach through the crown of the head, drop the shoulders down. And then folding right here, fold forward. And bring the fingertips to the mat. Wrists are under shoulders. Pull the feet away from each other. Feel that engage the hips. Axial extension, lengthen through the spine. Soften your knees and then grab opposite elbows. And swing those shoulders, swing your elbows. Do some figure eights, circles. And then let everything hang. Head hangs, arms hang. And breathe. Come back up on the fingertips and walk to the front of the mat.
And now we're in that lunge position again, but I want to rise up in a warrior two. So externally rotate the back leg. Now the pinky toe edge is parallel back there. I'm going to cartwheel the arms up.
And it's easy in warrior two to let your butt stick out. Don't do that. Neutralize the pelvis. Try to line up your sit bones over your heels. Reach in both directions. Drop the back hand down, reach up. And then back to warrior two. Now reach towards me. Come into side angle. Drop that right hand on the right forearm on the right thigh. Swing your left arm up by your ear. And then cartwheel the arms down by the foot. Step back into down dog. Lift the left leg back and up. Drop the heel to the butt. Stack the hips. Don't stack the shoulders. Step through. We're going to come up in a lunge, so railroad tracks. Rise up in your lunge. Ooh, neutralize the pelvic bowl. So you're kind of bringing the ribs towards, it's a little bitty crunch, but really it brings you to neutral. Arms by the ears. We're going to open into that twist to the left. Breathe. And try that peaceful twist. So dropping the left hand back, right hand up and over. And back to the twist. And now we're going to come into Prasarada facing the right. Pull forward. And this time just walk the hands back towards, in line with the feet. Let the head hang. And if you have even more space, turn the fingers the other way and reach behind you. Kind of pull. Knees can be bent a bit. Breathe. Now walk towards the front of the mat. We're going to come up in warrior two, so you can just leave that back foot externally rotated. Turn the toes of the front foot towards the front edge of the mat. Frame your foot. Cartwheel up into warrior two. Let the tailbone be heavy. Line your sit bones up over your heels. You're going to take peaceful warrior. Back to warrior two. And side angle. So lean, fold, arm up by this side. And then frame the foot. Step back into table. I'm going to turn now. Take a wide child's pose again. And this time, bring your fists so you kind of make a circle, a hollow fist. And we're going to tap the back, tap the low back. And then stillness. Now press back up, swing the legs around. And come into Dandasana, so legs are straight, but we'll be there briefly. I'm going to lean back a bit because my hamstrings are tight. Bend your right knee and open it. Cross right ankle past the left thigh. I'm going to come into a seated number 4, so draw the left foot up. Make sure you have plenty of mat behind you. And you can stay here, or you can reach in front of your shin. And you can also roll right down the spine, coming into our number 4 on our back. And I haven't tried this yet, but we're going to try to rock and roll in this shape, coming up to the sit bones. I don't know if I can do it or not. Let's give it a shot. Hey, I did it. Uncross. Second side, bend the left knee, open, cross, seated number 4.
And then thread the hands in front of the shin. Sit up on the sit bones. And then option of rolling back. And let's see if we can rock and roll to the top again. Oh, maybe not. Hey, I did it. And I cross. Let's come to our backs. Bring the arms to the sides. Let's just do a couple nice lazy bridge poses. So knees are lined up, ankles are lined up with the hips. And lift on an inhale. Reach with the tailbone as you lower on an exhale. So try to get length in the spine as you come down. 2 more, inhale, lift. Exhale, reach with the tailbone and come down. 1 more, inhale, lift. And now find your way to a shape for Shavasana. Anything that feels very restful. No effort at all in this last pose, just let it go. And again, focusing on the spine and the breath. I like to visualize a light that represents my breath, a point of light that travels up and down the spine with the inhale and exhale. And begin to deepen your breath. Noticing the physical movements in the body with the breath, the ribs and the belly. Maybe the sound in the throat. Begin to explore some movement now in small ways. Maybe a couple pelvic tilts. And reach long, flip the palms. Wag the tail a little bit. And make your way to your right side. Pause there with your head on your arm. And extend the top leg long and come back up to a seated position. So there's more with that flow. I really like that flow. So I may do this a few times and piece together some other things that go with that. I've shortened the class from an hour to 45 minutes-ish, only because I know Ron tends to have meetings like right on the hour. So I'm hoping perhaps by giving you a few minutes at the end of class to get back in front of your computer if you're watching me from home, that might help, and you can get that relaxation period in too. I very much value your presence. For this month, I'm going to do Mondays and Fridays. And then next month, I think I'm going to add in a Wednesday, a little lunch thing, just a brief kind of at your desk kind of thing, followed by a little meditation. So let's inhale, reach up. You'll get more information about that online eventually. Exhale the hands home to the heart. And as always, peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. Have a great day. It's very pretty out there right now. Enjoy that sunshine. Get some vitamin D.